Hi everyone, I'm Jay,
I'm Colin.
and this is Star Wars Conversation. So, how you doing, Colin?
Awesome, Jay. Awesome. You okay, buddy?
Yep, I'm pretty good. Not a big show today, quite a short one, but people probably like that.
Yeah, after our mammoth return last week.
That was pretty long, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like Snoke's capital ship just turning up, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
massive. Right, so give us the around the rim headlines.
So, there's two this week. The first one is the controversy with the Han Solo posters and then the new posters that have come out.
Yeah.
And also a report of Jabba the Hutt appearing in the new Han Solo movie.
Ooh. Okay, let's delve into that then,
Let's
my old
delve
chum.
in. Okay, so you know about the controversy about the posters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we covered that a little bit last week, but now Disney have decided just to release the pictures from behind. It looks like, is that
Yeah,
right?
so Disney said that it was one of their third party people that they put out there to do the artwork for them. And so they're investigating what had happened with those posters. As a short recap, the posters that came out, very cool looking ones with the writing and the characters behind them, were actually developed by a French artist who was doing work for some CDs for Sony. And so he's come along and, hey, hold on a minute, you've stolen my idea. And if you see the actual pictures side by side, they are exactly the same. So, now Disney have said that they're going to investigate that and find out what's going on. And so now they've released the posters of the characters. So, as you said, so it's behind the writing. It's all the same pictures, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it's just got the picture of the character, then it says their name and just says Han Solo, a Star Wars story. They look quite good. They're in the same colours. There's just no fancy design over the top. I mean, I quite like the artwork for them anyway. I thought they looked quite cool.
Yeah, I mean they're okay.
They're
They're fine.
posters. They're
They're
character
posters.
posters. Han Solo's in a Han Solo-ish kind of pose.
I would
Um,
like to see a more traditional Star Wars group picture for this. That
they
would be
probably will
nice.
nearer the time. I mean, it comes out
We'll
on May
see fan
25th.
ones.
What's that?
We'll see some fan ones, I'm sure.
Oh, guaranteed, yeah. And they did release. There was a stand that was released. Where was it now? It was at it was somewhere like Denny's or somewhere like that in the States.
Oh,
And it was just like one of those standees, like a big cardboard thing, and it had each of them sort of as if they were walking forward. So it had Solo, Kira,
yeah.
Lando, and Chewie. They look cool. I like them. Similar kind of art, it's a painted kind of realistic looking thing. You got a good look at their full body, so you can see like their costumes properly. In that picture, I really thought that he did look like Han Solo. I know his
Yeah.
face isn't the same, but just like everything about him, I was like, yeah, that's Han Solo.
Yeah, he's cool, man. I like him.
Mm.
All right, interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. That was. I'll tell you something else even more interesting.
Go on.
The Sun reckon
Yeah.
that Jabba is going to be in Han Solo.
Now, the Sun aren't the most trustworthy. However, it makes sense that Jabba being Solo, right? I mean,
Well, if you had a wish list of what you want to see in a young Han Solo film, one of them would be what happened. How did he get in trouble with Jabba?
but from the first time we ever met Han Solo in A New Hope, we knew that he had history of Jabba the Hutt, so it just makes sense to put him in there. And then at the same time, as I thought about that, when you watch the trailer, Woody Harrelson's character, I can't remember his name, but it kind of sounded like he was putting together a team to do a heist.
Yeah,
And maybe like
it's
he
for
works
Jabba.
for Jabba, yeah, and then that's how Han Solo's introduced him. It'll probably be something like that, which I'd be quite cool with. That. I mean, I look forward to seeing Jabba. I hope that Bib Fortuna's in there as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Salacious Crumb, of course.
And some slave girls.
Definitely. Although these days they probably won't allow you to have that because it would upset people. But I hope there are some.
We wouldn't
slave
want a
girls there.
baddie doing something bad, would we?
I know how bad would that be? But, yeah, I hope that they do have some slave girls.
Yeah, and so this rumor came from one of the visual effects. I can't remember.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he was being interviewed, and someone asked him, will we see any familiar faces? And he said something around, well, I shouldn't be saying anything, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Jabba. And then went on to say a little bit more. But
I wouldn't be surprised to see Jabba anyway.
No.
So,
but I think it will only be. I don't think it'd be a long scene. I think it'd be a short.
I mean, it could be, as I said, if it was to do that heist, it might be giving the job or something like that.
Might even be just like over the hollow net, like Maz was in there.
Yeah, could be. Or maybe if they meet and then he's like, I like this Solo kid. Can you imagine if it was something like that? It's like, oh yeah, see Jabba likes Solo because he says to him he was his best smuggler. So at the end of it, maybe it's just like the job's done. Woody Harrelson's character's dead, and Solo returns to Jabba because before he ditched his cargo, he had to have done jobs that made Jabba happy. Otherwise, Jabba wouldn't really have that relationship with him.
Well, I think this whole he's Jabba's best smuggler. At the end of it, instead of the award scene that you get in New Hope, we'll have Jabba awarding Han a medal, Employee of the Month.
I hope that he won't give one.
But he won't give one to Chewie.
He'll actually take away his other half of his bandolier.
Nick Joseph will make a return and hand out the medal.
Definitely.
I hope so. Anyway, for Nick, that would not.
And will Lando be dressed in a skiff guard outfit and bang his head off the ceiling?
No, Lando might get one because everyone knows Star Wars is racist against anyone that's not human. So.
Yeah, true.
So Lando and Hannah get a medal and Chewie won't.
Excellent. And even for the droid, so Lando's droid, he'll get polished up, so he's kind of happy.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Just
it'd be brilliant. All based in Jabba's phone room. Yeah.
Brilliant. I hope that happens now. That's got to be how it ends.
Yeah, hope so. Right. Okay. Well, that's the news.
Yeah.
The around the rim section of today. I have finished the Last Jedi audiobook, so I thought it might be worth me just going through some of the things that I noticed were either different or, having recently listened to it, my thoughts again on some of the possible issues with the film.
Did you? So before you go in, did you think that you preferred the book to the movie, or no different?
Not much different. Okay. I mean, my general feelings of the novel was it gives a bit more information on a couple of things. None of it absolutely desperate. It very much feels to me that the reason this book was delayed was because I had the novelisation, and to be fair, all the bits that are exactly from the film are exactly like the film.
Right.
And it seems like word for word. The quotes and stuff.
They just took the script and made it into a book.
The bits that are new definitely seem like they've been added in. Right. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I almost feel like, and I don't know if this is or not.
What, like they added in after the movie?
Yeah.
Really?
I think. I think they got the first couple of showings in and thought, there's a couple of things people are moaning about. Let's try and fix them.
Okay.
I just get the feeling there's a couple of bits in it.
We'll go into it then. Let's see what they are.
Yeah. All right. So as I talked about last week, because I'd only really got at the beginning of it. The beginning opens with Luke having a dream about what his life would have been like if he didn't go off with Ben.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
But absolutely pointless. And to me, it was just something they put in just to make the book different than the film. And then, so I've got a list of bits I just made a note of. Some of it's not in order, so apologies for that, because I just remembered them as I was thinking about it. So first of all, right, when the Resistance fleet first jumped from Dakar, whatever it's called,
yeah,
and they hyperspace to middle of nowhere.
Yes.
Now, a few people, in the issues with the film, they said, "Well, why did they do that? Why didn't they just go to wherever they were supposed to be going?"
It's true. But they didn't have enough. They didn't have enough fuel, did they?
Well, again,
Supposedly.
if you're going to do a hyperspace jump, you assume you jump. But anyway, the book says the reason that they did that was they were going to an established rebel meeting point. That was the plan. So rather than go to anywhere in particular, the plan was they were going to an established rebel rendezvous point, which Admiral Akbar shared with the rest of the group. Then the next question, which often comes up when you talk about this film, is why did the First Order stop attacking the fleet and just let them cruise along? Now, again, it doesn't really give a satisfying answer as to why, because I still don't understand why they didn't wipe them out.
Yeah.
But the reason is Snoke gives the order.
Oh, right.
And
but
Snoke
why?
tells him not to, but he says that he doesn't. Well, again, there's no real reason, but the reason is Snoke tells him not to. So, again, that's a bit weird.
He wants to give him a chance.
Well, it doesn't make sense. There's, in terms of Kylo, I think it makes it a lot clearer that he's really conflicted all the way up until he kills Snoke.
Right.
And then from there, he really has decided to go on a path of dark side. And the book, I think, narrates that a bit better and makes that a bit clearer.
So how does he, with his conflict, what gets him to that point then to do that? In the book, like in his mind, like what's going on? Like what's his...
Well, I mean, it's just... I guess it's just because it's a novel and you get more thinking rather than, because you can't have thought bubbles in a film. You just understand more that he's still conflicted. The bits with him and Rey are going back and forth, particularly when he's going to attack the Radissus and shoot Leia.
Yeah.
That bit really particularly, he can sense. Again, it explains in the book Leia. He explains Leia, but not just that he senses Leia, and he's worried about killing her. He feels from her that she is worried about him,
right,
and is more concerned that if he kills her, what it will do to him, rather than that she's angry with him and that kind of stuff. And so that's what convinces him not to do it.
Okay,
which is a bit more, again, a bit more interesting.
When he kills Snoke in the throne room, and then I can't remember the lines because it's been a while since I watched it, but then he has that bit with Rey and he's like, join me, and she's like, no, don't do this, and then they sort of have a bit of a to and fro where she's kind of saying, come and help us, don't do this. At that point, is he still, when she's saying that, is there part of him that's still conflicted there, or is it like
from then on he's chosen his path?
So the
but
moment
almost
turns
killing
that lightsaber,
almost killing Snoke is the moment when he's like, this is it, I know what I'm doing. Right. I'm going to take control. Because I'm going to be...
Because when he kills Snoke, then they fight the Praetorian Guards together, right?
Yeah, but that's survival, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, is he sort of thinking, I can get her to join me now?
Because, I mean, again, they don't really... In the fight scene, they don't really elaborate what he's thinking.
Right. Okay.
But it's pretty clear that from that point, his decision's made. He's going to rule the... And I guess that would go with the... he's basically clearing out everything that was Snoke. He's now taken over, and there's a little bit more when Hux finds him, and Hux is going to kill him. But I mean, nothing more interesting. But in the fact that Hux makes that decision, and then obviously Kylo then is like, no, I'm absolutely taking control. I'm in charge here, that kind of thing. And I guess. One really interesting bit, which explains one of the biggest plot holes from The Force Awakens, is that they talk about when Kylo was mind probing Rey for where Luke was and the map, that Rey downloaded all of Kylo's training, like Neo in the Matrix. And that basically that connection almost gave her all of his training, which is how she knew how to be a badass Jedi and do all the things.
How did she do that?
Well, again, it sort of conflicts with all the teachings we've had from Yoda about how the light path isn't quick and easy and and all this kind of thing. But basically, she accessed his training, because she accessed all his mind, and that's how she knew how to do the Force things.
And he was stupid enough to let her do that. He didn't
Well, he didn't let her. Yeah, but
any protection over it.
Well, no, but it was established that she started forgetting all his feelings and understanding all his problems in the actual film. When he's going, you don't want to, you want to be Darth Vader. And
it's
all
weird
stuff.
Though that in the film they don't make any comment about that though. Do you know what I mean? Because they should kind of point out that she's become really badass because she's taking his training as well.
I mean, I don't think it's like it is quite like Minio that she's downloaded the training, but it's more like she's seen his training, experienced it. So even though she hasn't been trained herself, she's sort of seen him go through his training and sort of understood the sort of things that the Jedi's can do. And I guess
some of the things they're coming up with now.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is what I'm saying. It's almost like this book was designed to answer all the moans.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because why was that in there?
Yeah.
Do you know? Like Jason Fire, I thought his writing was actually quite good. The whole book was good, and he's quite. And I've since looked. He's done a few other Star Wars novels and stuff, and they've been alright. So, Anyway, so there's that. I guess also talking about Rey's training, her badassness. It also establishes that when she was on Jakku, every day she would train with her staff.
Right, and we kind of figured that would be the case because she's pretty good with it.
And so that's and almost when she's on Achu, she misses doing the daily training with the staff and that kind of thing. So
I never had a problem with how good she was at fighting because I was like, well, we saw early on that she knew how to fight, so that was cool.
They do talk about Han's funeral, which obviously we don't get in the film. Okay. So it's sort of covered in a bit of a sort of layer, thinking about things, and at the beginning, she's almost forced to do the funeral and speak because she feels there isn't time to really do it, but they almost want to do it to gather everyone around. It's more of a political thing. But again, it's not really a great moment, and there's not much about it because, again, the key people aren't there. Lando's not there. Chewie's not there.
Yeah.
Luke's not there. So it's almost just like mentioned, but not a big deal. But at least they say they have a funeral for Flathan. Talking about plot points again. So going back to this, the battle between Rey and Kylo and Snoke, and then them escaping. They obviously cover Rey getting out of there a bit more and getting in Snoke's own little yacht thing to escape.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the plot points still is, and it doesn't really explain it in this. And again, I've seen this. Don't take this as me moaning about the film. These are just things I've seen other people moan about. So I just don't know whether or not it's worth pointing out. I personally don't give a crap.
The bits I didn't like were Canto Bight mainly. That's the bit I thought was pointless.
But one of the nitpicks was, how did Rey know where the First Order was when she left a Chew to actually go and see Snoke and that?
The Force.
Well, we don't. But then that also brings to, well, if Rey can find where Kylo is, why couldn't Kylo and Snoke find her when she was on the Chew? And then the other, and so the potential answer
is protecting.
Well, he wasn't because he was shut off from the Force.
Oh yeah, true.
and the potential answer is, well, she followed the wristband that Leia had. But then how did she know that Kylo and the Snoke and the First Order were with the Resistance? Because as far as she knew, they had escaped or whatever. So again, it's all a little bit. That's still not answered. So they're just questions that are still left out there.
Mm-hmm.
One again, you don't get much more background onto Snoke. I thought we'd get more than we did, but it sort of tries to explain what Snoke's actual plan is. And Snoke's plan in training Kylo and taking Kylo on was to use Kylo to draw Luke out and to eventually get Kylo to turn on Luke and destroy him that way.
Right.
Which again doesn't quite work because Kylo does effectively turn on Luke when he destroys the temple.
Yeah.
And so what you'd think to yourself, and almost Snoke gets what he wants because then Luke goes into hiding and cuts himself off from the Force. So in a way, Snoke's got what he wants. So why would he continue training Kylo and doing stuff that provokes Luke? Do you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So again, a lot of this is thinking about it too much. Just bloody enjoy the film.
Well, yeah, and also we might get some answers in episode 9, right?
Yeah, but these are just points that I've seen, and I thought I'd bring up and say no, they're still not answered.
Okay.
There's another bit with the Yoda and Luke scene.
Right. I like that scene.
Yeah, I like that scene. But there's one bit in it that Yoda says, which again, this is a Star Wars purist real nitpick. He talks about the cosmic force and the living force, and the difference between the living force is what anyone that's alive dies and becomes part of, but the cosmic force is what creates it, and it talks about the cosmic force having an awareness and a will. So he's almost saying that the cosmic force is almost like a sentient deity kind of thing.
Right.
Which, again, I don't know if that's something... I mean, generally, the force has always been a neutral thing.
That sounds like something Filoni would do.
Yeah, and it push... But from the way... Again, this is just a throwaway line in this book.
I think they're changing the force a bit.
Well, this is the thing. It's a throwaway line in the book, but it potentially opens up because it's canon.
Well, yeah, the thing is, though, I mean...
Because this book is canon.
The canon, yeah, the new bits are canon because they happen in the book and not in the movie, but they don't conflict. But the canon's really weird with books nowadays because if it is something that conflicts, they go, oh, well, then the movie's canon. And it's like, well, it should be... It's one or the other. Like, either it's canon or it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't have, well, sometimes it's canon. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. What else we got? Obviously, why is Luke in his Jedi robes at the beginning? It explains that basically Luke was going to go burn down the tree, and that a couple of times he's gone to do it, but he's just not had the willpower to do it.
Why does he have to wear robes to do it?
Because he feels it's more of some kind of like ceremony type thing, you know what I mean? It's more of a... So that's what he's doing there. Also, I thought was interesting was, when Luke finds Rey and Kylo doing the Force meld together, and he walks in on them. Mm-hmm. Before that, he decided to go and join Rey.
Right.
So it basically had all his... You get a bit more of him thinking about what it is and that kind of stuff, and he basically decides, actually, no, I need to go and help Rey. I should go back and support everyone, and maybe I've made the wrong choices doing this. So he's basically rushing off to go and see Rey to tell her, no, I'm going to come and join you. When he walks in, see them two together, he goes, nah, I'm all... No, this is all back.
Mind back, yeah.
That's it. I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, that's quite good.
It almost resolves Luke coming to terms with it.
I was going to say, one of the things that's probably the most interesting is what Luke's thoughts were throughout the whole thing, because you don't really get much of that.
Yeah, and again, you still don't get enough, I don't think. You get more of the... there's a bit where, it particularly mentions it in the Star Wars, in the book, the thing that, what's the visual dictionary thing that we've got, where it talks about the caretakers and their male ones that come and once every month come and have a big party. Luke tells Rey that is actually people attacking the island. And and it's like some kind of test, like about. I don't quite get it, to be fair, but he basically testing her, trying to trick her into thinking that she can't control and stop everything, and that, you know, these people are attacking, and so she goes to stop them and then realizes it's a party. I mean, it's really a bit weird.
I guess Luke's not as good at it as Yoda.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I guess that's really it. I mean, if they don't really expand much on Rose and Finn, nothing
Good.
really. There's not really any major difference. I mean, you definitely get a feel that Rose, over the course of the film, but starts getting feelings for Finn.
Well,
but I think
one thing that I liked was there was an interview with John Boyega, and they said, you know, what do you want to see happen? He goes, oh, I want to see Finn end up with Rey.
Yeah, and
it's like, I don't like Rose either.
And very, very strong is this feeling that you know, Finn likes Rey. The only thing is, Rose. There's a bit in there where Rose sort of almost equates it to the fact that he's been closed off all this time, and like some animals, when they first she keeps talking about Paige and Paige's theories and things, and that some animals, when they first are exposed to something, that they imprint immediately,
right.
and almost like she equates Finn's obsession with Rey is more of an imprint. She's the first person that actually gave him any kindness and stuff
Rose
like that.
is just trying to convince herself.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that's not it. But there's no explanation on Phasma. There's no more stuff on DJ.
Good, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't. Apart from those points, I mean, I couldn't really see any other major differences, to be honest.
Cool. Well, yeah, it sounds like it was okay. I'm not going to read it, but
I mean, I don't think you need to.
No,
there's nothing in it that says, right, you're missing out if you haven't read the novel.
Yeah.
So, especially since I've just told you, right?
Exactly. That's why I like letting you read them all.
Thanks, buddy. I've actually just downloaded Canto Bight to read, but I'm not sure I'm going to bother.
Yeah, you go with that one. One thing that I was wondering, just before we wrap up, because we're reaching our time, is do you reckon that in episode 9, Kylo's Praetorian Guards will be the Knights of Ren? So they won't be Praetorian Guards, but he'll have the Knights of Ren with him.
Well, that would be super cool, wouldn't it?
I think that's what will happen, because you know, like how the Emperor had the Red Guards, Snoke had Praetorians. Now Kylo's the full boss. I reckon he's going to have his knights with him.
I think that would be cool. Definitely, even if they're not in that specific role, but they are more part of it, because
I hope they're more part of it. I hope that we get something of them.
It would make sense, wouldn't it? That almost they become his council or something. You know?
Yeah.
Like Knights of the Round Table kind of thing.
Oh, dude, how cool would that be? Especially if they introduce us to each of them, like we get to know who they all are and that.
I tell you what would be cool: opening scene, Mustafar, Vader's castle, which Kylo's now
round table,
and they've got a round table, and he's the boss. That'd be wicked. That'd
be so cool. Well, we know that JJ watches this show or listens to it. So,
and Kathy and Pablo, hell no.
So, you know, if they were smart, then they would, you know.
Well, we've just given them some great ideas. They might have to do a quick reshoot of Solo, but
we're not even asking for money. But you know,
I am.
So. Oh, are we? Are we doing that now?
I think they should.
Well, they should.
I'll tell you what. They don't need to pay us up front. We'll just have a percentage of the profits
and the merchandise.
Yeah.
I'll go for that. The merchandise. Cool.
Do you think we'd get our own Funko Pops?
We should have our own Funko Pops. They would be very cool. People would buy them.
They would. Anyway.
Right. Is that it then? Yeah.
I think that's it, dude.
Cool. All right. That's us for this week. Nice and short and sweet. So, where can they find us online? They can find us on Facebook at Star Wars Conversations. They can find us on Twitter at Star Wars Convo, or use the hashtag Star Wars Convo.
Same for Instagram.
Yeah, and you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on all of the places where you get podcasts like iTunes, Stitcher, all the other ones, SoundCloud. No, I can't
Yeah,
remember what they're called.
SoundCloud, Google,
SoundCloud,
who
all
knows?
those places, and also on the Taylor network of podcasts.
Where you can find lots of other brilliant podcasts like Double Pay Spread and Nothing's On and Gotham by Geek and Go Trek Yourself and all the great ones.
There you go, and there's a TARDIS one as well.
Oh yeah, TARDIS. Yeah, don't forget that one. That's the best one.
So yeah, so that's it from us. Thank you for listening, and until next time,
Punch it, Chewie!
may the force be with you
Yeah.
always.
Into the prison.